Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Planning Commission of Bedford Township. It is December 13. It is 7 p.m. I guess we should stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, who's going to be our, maybe you could be our secretary? Can you do the roll call, Jody?
Yes. Mr. Steiner.
Aye.
Mr. Andrews.
Here.
Mr. Helm.
Here.
Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Fritz and Mr. Crowdret are excused. Mr. Lampkowski is unexcused.
Okay, thank you. Item 4, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda is submitted.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, the agenda passes. Approval of the minutes of November 15, 2023. Any changes, deletions, additions?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 15th, 2023 meeting as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 6, public comment, limited to 3 minutes. This isn't regarding a public hearing, but if anybody in the public wants to say anything, you have 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, new business. Item A, open the public hearing regarding the request for rezoning from C2 Shopping Center to RM2 Multifamily Residential for Rivercrest Properties, Inc., on a vacant parcel located on the east side of Lewis Avenue, north of Stearns Road, parcel number 58-02-026-059-05. Mr. Kamprith, do you want to warn the applicants about our lack of board members tonight?
Yes, are you the applicants in the front row? We have less than a full body. Full body is 7 members. Our bylaws require that in order to pass an affirmative vote on a rezoning, in other words, to recommend approval, that you must gain a vote of a majority of the body, which is 4 votes, regardless of how many are present. So you have the opportunity to defer any decision tonight until the next meeting, when hopefully we'll have more Planning Commission members present. Regardless of that decision, we still have published in the newspaper for a public hearing today. So if there are citizens, interested persons who have appeared at the meeting tonight, we're going to open the public hearing and hear their comments. If you decide to defer to another meeting, we'll hold that public hearing open until the next meeting. So those people can come back when we're going to continue and close the public hearing at that time and make a decision. So we're going to, I guess, at this point, I don't know if it's proper to open a public hearing or ask for their decision on deferring.
And forgive me, I should have asked you to step to the podium, introduce yourself, where you're from, your address, and then you can proceed.
Mr. Chair?
Sure.
First, I would like to apologize to the applicant because he was aware that 2 members were going to be short, but not the 3rd member. So in moving forward, definitely they were unaware that we were going to be 3 members short tonight. He has been advised, though, that they would have to attend the meeting to either state they wanted to move forward or defer. I would request that maybe we take his name and address and representation, and I can quickly go over the information and then take any public comment. I would definitely, just in case any of the public is unable to attend, continuing the public hearing to the next meeting if they decide to defer, but I would like to still take public comment for who's here tonight. And I can go over my analysis and at least discuss that. But moving forward with any discussion from the commission, I would hold off on that until we move forward on a decision from the applicant.
Okay, go ahead and state your name and address.
Yeah, my name's Nathan Wagner. Excuse me. Cash Wagner and Associates. I'm the engineer of record for the proposed buyer and developer. And we have a release on behalf of the seller, current property owner, to represent him as well in this matter. Do I need to say anything else, or do you want to read your?
No, I suppose not. So you're aware of what Mr. Camperth explained to you? Okay. Do you wish to proceed or defer?
I'm sorry. At this time, maybe not have him defer or make a decision yet. Let me read over my analysis, and then let the public comment, and then have them come back up and make a decision.
Okay.
Again, the applicant is Cash Wagner and Associates. Representative Nathan Wagner. Owner is Rivercrest Properties, Inc., Mark LePayton, 25865 West 12 Mile Road, Southfield, Michigan. It's a vacant parcel located on the east side of Lewis, north of Stearns. Currently zoned C2 Shopping Center. Proposed zoning RM2 multifamily residential on 11.44 acres. Parcel 5802-026-05905. The vacant subject parcel is approximately 11.44 acres with 363.69 feet of frontage on Lewis Avenue and 370 feet of frontage on Stearns Road. The request is to rezone from C2 Shopping Center to RM2 multifamily residential. The applicant has indicated should the rezoning request be granted, the proposed 11.44 acre area requested be rezoned, and the intent is for additional development of an extension of the submitted RM2 multifamily residential development to the east, consisting of 142 bedroom units and 4 one-bedroom units for a total of 144 units, not yet approved. The layout was submitted by the applicant with this request. The Planning Department requested a review of the rezoning from Lucy Fort and the Manicat Smith Group and planner for Bedford Township. Supplied in an overall review of the subject area and the information included in the packet in Ms. Fortin's review. The conclusion for the request is as follows. We suggest the Planning Commission make a recommendation to the Township Board to approve the rezoning request for the parcel located on Lewis Avenue identified by 5802-026-05905 from C2 Shopping Center to RM2 Multifamily Residential District. This recommendation is grounded in the following key reasons. It's supported by the Master Plan's future land use, provisions of suitable transitional use between the business land uses in the intersection of Stearns Road and Lewis Avenue and the nearby single-family residential uses. In alignment with the Township's master plan goals and policies, ample space on the parcel to preserve the site's natural features and mitigate potential negative impacts of higher density residential uses on an adjacent lower intensity use through effective screening and landscaping. Anticipation of high quality site and architectural design consistent with the Master Township Site Plan and Architectural Design Manual for the development on this parcel, and it's likely supported by the nearby utility infrastructure. Master Plan designates the site as neighborhood business to promote mixed uses and flexible redevelopment outside areas of village centers, a mix of residential, office, and lower intensity commercial uses. I did not resubmit all the information regarding the uses permitted because Ms. Fortin did clearly identify those on page 3 of her comparison of the zoning districts for in a C2 and compromising to an RM2, which is permitted. You'll see some that are permitted with special approval, some that are all only permitted by special approval, and then she broke down the height of the structures and that type of nature of what's permitted. So I did not try to be too redundant in the packet information. Planning Commission was also provided a letter from the neighboring property, the Monroe County Credit Union, stating that while Monroe County Credit Union does not have an objection to the rezoning of the above referenced parcel from C2 to RM2 for Rivercrest Properties, we would like to submit a written comment for consideration at the scheduled meeting on December 13th. As a financial institution, we prioritize and value the safety and security of our employees, members, and the community. In the recent past, we've encountered issues with our parking lot being utilized for neighboring businesses that has caused significant damage to our property, resulting in expensive repairs. As a neighboring property owner, we respect requests that measures be taken to ensure the development of this parcel does not create potential misuse or damage to the property. We appreciate your consideration of our concern as this property is being developed. If you have any questions, and then they did leave an email and a phone number. Keep in mind that neighboring properties, one to another, is not defined by this potential developer or the property owner as it exists. They've had problems with a different property, not this property. I just wanted to clarify that they're talking about issues with the different property, not this one. But moving forward with development, they would like that to be taken into consideration.
Mr. Wagner, can you step back up to the podium? Is there anything you want to add to what Jody read?
Yeah, I don't see any issues with that. I don't see any objection. I don't see any reason why any of the tenants would use their parking lot. This concept plan we submitted has the buildings and parking substantially removed away from the bank. So if they did park in that bank, they'd have to hike.
Okay, did you have a decision made whether you want to defer or let it roll tonight, or?
Oh, I thought we were going to wait on.
Do you want the public?
I think we do the public comment first, and then let them hear from the.
Then he can decide whether to.
And then he
defer?
can decide, yes, because
Enough.
right now, we're not going to take no comments, and the commission's not going to have no discussion. We'll have open it for
Okay.
public comment, and then have him come up and make a decision.
So the public hearing is open. Does anybody in the audience want to come up and speak? You have 5 minutes to speak on what's being proposed. Go ahead and state your name and your address and put the microphone close by.
I need it. Marjorie Kuzno, 7849 Comanche Trail, Temperance. And I wish that I had had the ability to, or the opportunity to read everything that you read in the beginning, because it's answering a lot of the questions I have. But my concern is that looking at the outline of the property and living in Mohawk Trails, which is right off of Dean Road, and I live in the very back of Mohawk Trails. And when everything started, goes back a way. I woke up one Sunday morning hearing trees being cut on a Sunday morning. It seemed very strange. So on Monday morning, I went over to see where it was happening. And it was happening on property on Stearns Road that, if anyone is not familiar with that layout, I'll try and explain it as easily as possible and clearly as possible. But the property on Stearns Road was next to some condos, apartments, not a big outlay, and I believe that's it on this.
I have it up on this, if that makes it clear for you to be able to see it on the
Oh,
screen.
great! I've been.
The orange piece is the subject parcel that we're speaking
Okay.
of, and she's referring to the piece to the east that's
Yes.
labeled as proposed multifamily. Correct?
No. To the west.
Well, they're developing to the.
I know.
I guess
I know. To the right, you'll see obviously a number of homes and what appears to be a development.
This right here.
Yes,
That is
by Decker and Worley.
That is actually Prairie Woods.
Yes. And then that was not developed. At that point, it was in the process. But all that vacant land,
Are you talking about this piece? I'm not sure. Are you talking about the piece my cursor's on now?
all right, you can see where the condos are.
These?
Thank you. And beginning with the part to the, what would have been
This one?
right down to Stearns Road.
This is actually where the proposed development that has been submitted for multifamily this is what was submitted already. This piece in orange is what they're requesting to rezone. That's on the map that you have. But this is what's proposed right now that we have a submittal for. We do not have a submittal because it's not zoned properly. So are you talking about this piece here?
Yeah, actually, that's part of it. And that section was nothing but
You can kind of talk
very
to the
young.
mic.
Oh, that's right.
I
I'm
want
sorry.
the public to hear. All right.
Anyway, the way that it's laid out, it was nothing but trees. And I'm not exaggerating. The trees were, I'd say from here across, there were probably 4 or 5 trees planted in a row. And they were not old trees. They were about this big around.
Okay, what's your name, Miss?
Marjorie Kuzno,
You had 5 minutes, Miss Kuzno. And
Okay.
It's been a little bit over 5. I want
already.
to make a quick point before you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I would like to. I went over there and questioned who this was.
As I understand it, not to interrupt you, I just
Yeah.
want to, I guess, keep the meeting moving. As I understand it, that area is already residential, but they started cutting trees before they had a site plan approved. Is that correct, Mr. Director?
No, that's not correct.
Okay.
They not only didn't have any application with Bedford Township, I went directly from there over to Township
What I'm
Hall.
saying is they weren't authorized to cut trees down without getting approval for their final site plan.
And I'm sorry,
They
I'm going
didn't-
to interject
Yeah,
though.
go ahead.
This parcel here has already been proposed, and that has been addressed with the property owner and the developer. I understand Ms. Kuzno's concerns of them. We don't monitor whether people cut down trees. As a property owner, and I believe they owned the property when they started cutting them down. Having said that, moving forward with site plan, Mr. Wagner was advised that they did not have approval at that time, and they stopped work. We are focusing on this piece moving forward for the rezoning for tonight.
Do you understand that? We're not talking about that other
I
property.
understand that.
Okay.
What you don't understand, and I'm not being,
And so I ask you, just get to the point.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes.
okay,
You've used them up, but if you can be
I
succinct.
spent all day that day running from Township Hall, telling various people what was going on, because who expects 14 acres of trees to be cut down all together? Nobody. And it had turned out that they not only cut down the trees, but they started shredding the trees so that they had mulch. And they were spreading the mulch in the areas that were cleared
Okay.
because there was a lot of moisture in that land.
Okay. I have to move on. Does anybody else like to speak? Thank you.
No,
Okay, go ahead. Come up. State your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
My name is John Adams. I'm the owner of the property at John's Trailer Sales, JE Rental Properties. I see that this property is, that's circled over here. That's going to be requesting for multifamily. I've got commercial property there. And to be honest with you, I want Lewis Avenue to be commercial. I don't want houses, multifamily, or anything else like that. If they put them in the background, that's fine. But what they really want to do is probably bring a street in there, because they don't want to spend $1 million for drainage off of Stearns, because that's the only other entrance they have to any road. So screw that up right there and turn it into a multifamily, just so he can save a few dollars, so he doesn't have to do the exit off of Stearns and spend $1 million for drainage. I don't think it's right. They've come to me, asked me to buy 60-foot frontage, so that's what they could do. And you guys are going to sit there and rezone this so he can put a road entrance to it, So he doesn't have to pay the $1 million or whatever it is for the drainage off of Stearns. I want my property to be commercial, and everybody else around there too, to turn around and turn it into multifamily. I mean, I don't see anything like that anywhere else. It's bad enough up farther that it's multifamily or single family, but they were there, for years to take away the plan that you guys want to do a commercial zoning there and then turn around, flip it back over to multifamily. I don't know why I came back up here. Move up here. Put all our money we want, put it in that place. We put a lot of money to get that place back in the shape. $2 million. New roof, everything else, and then to lose it and start putting multifamily. I've already got multifamily across the street from me. I'm going to have them behind me. Now you're going to take a part of Lewis Avenue and turn that into it. Just because you don't want to spend $1 million, to do what he's supposed to do off of Stearns. I mean, do you guys understand what I'm saying? I mean, is that the reason why he wants to buy this property? Has he come to you and actually told you that?
I think the preliminary site plan that he provided, it's just the intent. It's not official, but it looks like there's a drive coming in off of Lewis and Stearns. Is that correct?
No, it was just off.
Sorry, we're not looking at a site plan.
Right.
The applicant provided
I just want to be clear about your concern.
And we don't have to, and the applicant hasn't made a determination whether to move forward yet, so he's not required to answer any questions. If he determines to move forward, then he can express, and
fair
then
enough.
if not, we'll table it to have it at the next meeting.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if you turn around and put this entrance right here for the apartment complex, that's real close to that intersection, Stearns. People are not going to be able to make a left-hand turn. They're already backed up, during rush hour. You're going to have people make a right only, or you're going to get accidents one after another, or people are going to block the road because they're going to try to get out. And it's way too busy of a road. It's busier than Lambertville, Secor Road is. There's a lot more people going up and down there, going up to Ida and everything else. And to have that close, I don't know any place else that's got it's going to have that many people coming out of that road. Especially when they got to go to work.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Anybody else? Seeing none, Mr. Wagner. Wish to proceed or defer?
Yeah, I think we prefer to defer.
Next week, the 20th?
Can we
We have a meeting next Wednesday on the 20th.
can I ask that you make the motion that we defer it until you have a full board present? Rather, and my point is, so I don't drive up here and only be 5 or 4.
Kind of hard.
I
know it's hard.
understand his concern because he's coming from Jasper and Dayton.
Sure.
However, in situations as tonight, I was aware there were going to be 2 members short if something were to happen, and I can't always guarantee that there won't be an emergency or a situation where someone is not in attendance, and we're leaving the public hearing open, so we do need to defer to a specific date should anybody else have any comments for the open public hearing. I will let Mr. Camprath if he has any further comments, but I believe that that's going to be the direction. We do have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday, December 20th, and then the next meeting date would not be till January, I want to say.
What is it, second and fourth Wednesdays of the month?
It would be January 10th or January 24th. Having said that, I can't guarantee.
You're going to have to pick a date if you want to.
Are you expected to have full board next week?
We are expected to have a full board next week.
I'm okay going next week.
Okay.
And if it have, I know you don't want to travel. You can always have, if you determine not to, and you have someone at least representation for the property or as a developer or the engineer, design firm, someone here to actually speak on your behalf. If you send me something in writing that's notarized, we can allow someone else to speak on the behalf if it's closer for them.
That's fair.
For anybody in the public, you have 5 minutes to speak. The public hearing will stay open until the meeting next week. Okay? All right,
We
thank
will
you.
defer then, leave the public hearing open. I would like a motion on the request of the applicant to defer to the December 20th meeting, leaving the public hearing open.
I will make a motion to continue with the public hearing for the potential rezoning. Get back to my front page here. For the potential rezoning of property listed as 5802-026-059-05 as requested by the applicant, and move it to the December 20th meeting as requested at 7 p.m.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Meeting is deferred till next week.
Thank you.
We'll continue the public hearing. Thank you, gentlemen.
And I will just add that I will let the applicant know as soon as if anyone is unable to attend, so that he would have the option to get somebody to speak on his behalf
Right.
from the area if
Sorry
need be.
about that.
Yeah. I
Weird
get
night.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 8, public comment. Anybody like to make any comment? Ms. Kuzno? 3 minutes.
I'm sorry that I took so long to explain. I didn't realize 5 minutes was so short. But part of the reason that I'm here is because the 14 acres were cleared without township being notified by anybody except me. And I went back and forth several times, and the township was ignored. And so they took down the trees, they ground them all up. There's still a huge hill of nothing but the ground up trees. And I go over there frequently to where the condos are just to check the land, because everybody was talking about how there was so much moisture there. Well, there is. And considering that they're saving that big hill for something, I would imagine it's to fill in the moisture that's coming up. The idea that they're operating without considering Bedford Township bothers me a great deal. And the fact that, I'm sorry, this is not directed at you, but I feel very strongly that Bedford has worked hard over the years to make sure that everything is done correctly. What I am very concerned about, and I want to look further into it, is follow the developing that was done by the big apartments on the west side of Lewis Avenue and the way those were built. And I hope the company that's trying to develop this is not the same company, because they had a narrow 3-story built, and then a big gap, and then another 3-story that was narrow. And there were, I think, 3 or 4 sections like that. And I attended the meeting where they came forward and said, we have so many people coming to us and wanting to rent apartments, but we don't have enough. And they got approval to fill in the space between the 3 pillars, or the 3 sets of pillars.
All right, thank you.
And there is one more thing. Those apartments were built with the first 3 stories not having any elevator, just a narrow stairway. That's it. That's not safe.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Kuzno. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 9, information. Ms. Rector?
Yes, we will be having a meeting on Wednesday, December 20th. Keep in mind, we will have the conditional rezoning request from November 15th is back on for that meeting. That public hearing has been closed for the record for the public. This item will be back scheduled on for the 20th as well. However, this public hearing is still open. Other than that, I have nothing for the evening.
Okay. Item 10, commission staff comment. I'll start on my left. Mr. Steiner?
Nothing additional this evening?
Ms. Rector?
Have a good evening.
Mr. Camperth?
Nothing.
Ms. Ingram?
Nothing.
Mr. Helm?
Nothing for me.
Mr. Grant? Andrews?
Yeah, I just want to thank the members of the public for coming out and mentioning their concerns tonight, and Mr. Wagner for making the drive up here.
I have nothing other than to say thanks for coming up and thank you for your comments. It's really good when people come to our meetings and participate. It's appreciated. Appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I have. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we are adjourned.